Thank you for joining. This is Emend, the Mass Media Group, and we're going to be doing a Freedmen's review of the motion picture Sinners. Just a heads up, there might be some spoilers. Sinners had a diverse cast, some black folks, white folks, Native American folks, Asian folks, and people pretending to be white folks. Oh, and some vampires. More on that later. The premise: in 1932, identical twins and World War I veterans Elijah Smoke and Elias Stack Moore returned to the Mississippi Delta after years in Chicago working for Al Capone. Using money they stole from gangsters, they purchased a sawmill from racist Ku Klux Klan landowner Hogwood to start a juke joint for the local black community. Their cousin Sammy, an aspiring guitarist, joins them despite opposition from his pastor father, who warns that blues music is supernatural. Sinners has a stellar cast. It stars Michael B. Jordan, who does a phenomenal job playing two roles, Brother Smoke and Stax Moore. Also starring in the movie is Miles Canton. I think Miles Canton, in my opinion, is actually the lead actor in this movie. He plays Sammy Moore, who's the cousin of Michael B. Jordan's character Smoke and Stack. He's actually a talented guitarist, and the story actually follows him to the end of the story as well. We have Saul Williams, and for those who don't know Saul Williams, he plays in this movie. He is a artist and poet, and I guess an actor. Now he plays Preacher Jedediah, which is actually the father to Michael Canton's character, Sammy Moore. And we also have Jack O'Connell, who does a great job playing Remick. And Remick is the lead or the head person who's kind of this head of this vampire gang in the movie. We also have David Maldonado, who plays the head of the Ku Klux Klan down there in Mississippi. His character's name is Hogwood. We also have Yao, who does a great, hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He had a pretty good character. It's called Bo Chow. Him and his wife own a convenience store that I think, according to the story, Michael B. Jordan knew them from way back in the day. So during a scene, they go to their store because they need to pick up some stuff because they're having a big party at this juke joint later on. So they go to him and his wife's store to pick up some things. So that was a pretty good character in Bo Chow. And then you had Lee Jun Lee, who plays Grace Chow. She is the wife to Bo Chow, and she also helps run the store. Now her character is very interesting. I'm not going to give you any spoilers because she actually does something in that movie that kind of triggers the story to move forward at the end. No spoilers, but I'll just say her character, I don't know, for me it was kind of a little bit cultural appropriation. I don't know if that was the direction that the director wanted to go in. I mean, kind of accent, kind of had the southern accent, and then it kind of fell off a little bit at the end. I don't know. I mean, outside of that, her character was good. I think she did a great job in it. Very dramatic though, very dramatic at times. But yeah, that was Lee Jun Lee. And then you also have Delroy Lindo. Now, Delroy Lindo, he's a great actor. I mean, you just got to give him his props and his flowers. He plays Delta Slim, who is at the time, an older gentleman who knows about the blues. He goes way back in the day. Now, from my understanding, he is not Black American descendant, but he does a great job. So, hey, I give credit where credit is due. But yeah, that's Delroy Lindo, who plays Delta Slim. And then there's Jamie Lawson. She plays a character called Pearline or Perline. I guess it depends on your accent and how you pronounce it. I can't remember how it was pronounced throughout the movie. But anyway, her character is, I believe, if I recall correctly, is married. And so she's actually fooling around with Sammy Moore, the cousin, the guy who plays the guitar. during the juke joint scene. They meet up a little bit earlier in the movie, so they have a little fling there. But her character was interesting. She stood 10 toes down against the vampires at the end. And also there's Haley Steinfeld, I think that's her name. She plays a character called Mary. I don't know what they call quadroons or something like that, but I think like her dad was white and her mom was half black and white or something like that. But anyway, I think it was Stack, one of the characters that was played by Michael B. Jordan, that was his love interest. And especially back in them days, and probably now a little bit, but back in them days, basically interracial marriage is, I think even at that time, was illegal. I think maybe not. I can't remember when it actually became legal. But anyway, so they had their back and forth about them dating, etc., etc. So basically, her character was playing the whole I can pass for white type of thing. And then we have Omar Benson Miller, who plays Cornbread. His character, big dude. This dude's a bigger dude in the movie. He plays our good Southern brothers down there with the overalls, rocking the overalls, because he has to work on. He's a sharecropper, so he's doing his thing, and he actually is one of the, I guess, bouncers, whatever. I don't think they called them bouncers back in the day, but anyway, he was the one who held the front door down in there. So his his role was very interesting. Anyway, spoiler alert, he actually gets turned into a vampire in that movie. The way that he got turned into the vampire, I'll just say, was very interesting. I'll just say he was using the bathroom, relieving himself while he got turned. Anyway, thought that was interesting. So yeah, let's continue here. I think another important character to mention in this movie is Wunmi Mosaku. She's a Nigerian-born actress, and she plays a character called Annie, who is a root worker and a estranged wife to Smoke. And there's the director, Ryan Coogler, for those who have been living under a rock or just don't follow movies. Ryan Coogler, his first debut film was a film titled Fruitville Station in 2013. That actually did star Michael B. Jordan at the time. That story was about the untimely death and murder of Oscar Grant at the Fruitville Station in the Bay Area. Then in 2015, he directed and wrote Creed, which is based off the Rocky series. And then you have in 2018 Black Panther, which we all know is Marvel. And then the follow-up in 2022, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And of course Sinners, where he actually produced this one as well. The previous films that he didn't produce, but he did produce this film. All right, so let's get into some numbers. The initial release date of Sinners was April 18th, 2025. Directed once again by Ryan Coogler. The runtime is 2 hours, 17 minutes. The Motion Picture Association of America rating, also known as MPAA, is rated R with a budget of 90 million US dollars. I did see some other sources where it did range up to 150-ish, around there. But currently, to what I currently read, it's around 90 million. Producers Ryan Coogler once again, Seb Ohanian, and I think that's his wife, Zinzi Coogler. Yes, Zinzi. Ryan Coogler's wife also produced it and distributed by Warner Brothers. IMDb rated it 8.2 out of 10, which is really high for IMDb. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 98%, wow, and Metacritic gave it 84%. Currently, it grossed domestically $48 million, internationally 15 or 15.5 million, and a total worldwide domestic sales at $63,507,468. So I wanted to actually talk to you about one or two themes throughout the movie, and it's basically the music. Now, the music was excellent in this movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The music was composed predominantly by Ludwig Göransson. A lot of blues was infused throughout the film, but one particular scene really caught my attention, and they actually fused a lot of American music, in particular Black American cultured music, from blues to like rock and roll, metal, all the way to hip hop, maybe even a little country in there a little bit, and some root music. So it was pretty cool. Like one of the scenes, as I said before, fused it, went back into blues all the way up to present time. So I don't want to get too far into it or elaborate in that scene, but I just thought that was like pretty cool how like they fused a lot of the genres that Black Americans have contributed into that particular scene. But more importantly, I wanted to actually go into the history of blues music and why that theme was so important throughout Sinners. So this article is titled The Historical Roots of Blues Music. This is by Lamont Pearley Sr. So let's dive into a little history of blues. There is an article titled The Historical Roots of Blues Music by Lamont Pearley Sr. In the article, it reads, the beginnings of the blues can be traced to the late 1860s, arguably the most vicious and violent period in the United States. Vigilante justice was at an all-time high, and by 1889, the lynching of African Americans surged dramatically. The bluesman and blueswoman emerged in this difficult period, along with the stories of folk heroes translated to song and the new venues in which the music would be performed. The blues did not speak of the life of the enslaved, but of the experiences of freed men and women during the periods of Reconstruction and Jim Crow. It spoke of cotton bales, gins, boll weevil, juke houses, and sharecropping. Farming and sharecropping were the starting places for most of the legendary blues musicians celebrated today, including Charlie Patton, Ruby Lacy, Son House, Howling Wolf, Muddy Waters, and the most famous, definitely legendary in recent generations, the great and one and only, the GOAT himself, B.B. King. Another theme throughout the movie was cotton. I know earlier I spoke about Cornbread, who is one of the characters in there, and how he was a sharecropper. This was all throughout the movie, which was very interesting. So let's talk a little bit about cotton and the history of it. In this article in Science Direct, it says a related Smithsonian exhibit reads, by 1860, 4 million enslaved people produced well over 60% of the nation's wealth. The claim that the enslaved contributed a large share of antebellum U.S. economy activity is now commonly made. And the half has never been told, Edward Baptiste, 2014, on page 322, asserted, all told, more than 600 million, or almost half, of the economic activity in the United States in 1836 derived directly or indirectly from cotton produced by the million-odd slaves. By 1860, enslaved labor produced over 2 billion pounds of cotton each year. About 75% of the cotton grown in the American South was sold internationally. The British Empire was by far the largest consumer of Southern cotton. Northern industrialists purchased the remaining 25% for their textile mills. Rise of the sharecropping system. Despite giving Black Americans the rights of citizens, the federal government and the Republican-controlled state governments formed during this phase of Reconstruction took little concrete action to help freed Black people in their quest to own their own land. Instead of receiving wages for working on owners' land and having to submit to supervision and harsh discipline, Most poor farm laborers preferred to rent land for a fixed payment. By the early 1870s, the system known as sharecropping had come to dominate agriculture across the South. Under the system, families would rent small plots of land or shares to work themselves. In return, they would give a portion of their crop to the landowner at the end of the harvest season. The system was used by white families as well as blacks. The majority of U.S. sharecroppers, about 2/3, were white, and in many areas of the rural South, only about 1/4 of white people owned land. All right, so that's pretty much it with this review. I just want to say also, for those that are pretty squeamish about horror, I would say go see it because it's actually not that bad. Obviously, there's some blood in it. Definitely wouldn't recommend younger kids to go watch it. For teenagers, obviously 18 and over, totally go see it. It has some good historical reference points in there, especially for those young people, the Generation Zs, I think, ish around there. Don't really, do their research like that. So I think it's a good introduction for, younger people to get introduced to, the themes about, cotton and American history, especially the origins of American history music. And also, it's just a good shot movie. What can I say? It's Ryan Coogler. Great color themes throughout the movie. And if you do like horror, it's right down your alley. So anyway, I said I was going to put in some spoilers. Maybe I put in 1 or 2 at the most, but it's already out now, so I probably couldn't have spoiled it too much anyway. But I do recommend going to watch this movie. All right. And so if anybody has seen it, let us know in the comments to see what you think. You might have thought it was garbage. But anyway, I really enjoyed it, and it looks like it's getting rave reviews. And hopefully it will surpass the budget that it, the production budget. So I'm pretty sure it will. It's a really good movie, and, it's already getting buzz right now. Oh, also, before I forget, there is some sensuality, sex scenes in there as well. It's not overly provocative. At least I don't even think there might be nudity in there. I don't know. There might be nudity, might not be nudity. But anyway, thanks for joining. As always, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. And we'll see you next time. As always, peace and reparations.